Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and place to be, it's Debsy. That's me, Debsy. Hey guys, happy Tuesday, and I hope everybody is having a great day. If not a great day, then a good day. I'm back from my relaxing relaxer yesterday. I know yesterday I promised that I was going to get a RHONY recap and rant to you for the finale, and today I'm going to do that. So Sunday night I watched Real Housewives of New York City finale. It seems like it was kind of a short season, and I'm not mad at that because, well, I'll get into it at the end, what I thought about the reboot and the season as a whole. So first off, we started off with Aaron and Uba. They were going to bumper cars on ice. They said they just wanted to have fun and maybe get some coffee and talk. They did. They had a lot of fun. But I don't think it would be, I think it would be impossible to go out with Uba and not have fun. She just seems to be like a ball of fun. Erin says she felt bad about how she was talking about Pavitt. But then she doubled down and talked more about Pavitt, like why he said what he said about Jessel, like when they were saying, what drew you to your soulmate? What drove you, or what made you fall in love with your spouse? And she's saying once again that he's saying that she lets me do whatever I want, which is not what he said really at all. And Uba had stood up for Pavitt and Jessel and said, listen, I think it's a really good relationship. That's the kind of relationship I would want. Somebody who just lets me be me. And what Pavitt really said was, Pavitt said that he didn't say I do what I want to do, but he basically said that she lets me be me. And it sounded almost like he said that they do these things together. So Uba stuck up for them. That's not even a word. Uba was on their side. Erin had said that she hopes that Cy and Jessel can be good in the future, but then she dug a little bit in on Jessel and said, but I don't know how that's possible because Jessel never really gets to the point. In her conversation, she just goes around and around. Uba mentions to Erin that she really didn't like the fact that at Swingers the night before that David had said to her, you know, you're such an amazing woman. You're beautiful. You're the total package, but you don't have a man. She was offended by this because she was like, so why do I have to have a man to be complete? She was really offended. She was offended by that. And I understand that. So next, listen, Bryn and Cy met at Central Park. They were going to go and look at a possible tree to plant for her grandmother, in Central Park. And Cy starts off the scene by talking about her mother, which is kind of crazy to me because I thought she really didn't like talking about her mother. But here she is talking about her mother, how they used to sell tchotchkes or whatever it was I cannot even remember. Anytime Cy says things, half of me checks out because I'm just not a fan of hers. But Bryn, it was really sweet because Bryn chose a tree. She chose a weeping willow tree because it was her grandma Mimi's favorite tree. And she also mentioned a real sweet memory about how her grandma liked feeding the ducks. And her brother, even beforehand, was like, you should find a tree that has ducks by it because you know grandma loved ducks. And there were ducks that were walking past. And there was a nice little bench. It was a very heartfelt moment. That being said, it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing to endear Cy to me. And Cy was like, we have such a special relationship. me and Bryn and nobody else in the group would understand it. Oh, okay. Also in that scene, Sai says she can understand Bryn's childhood, and she can compare it with hers because they're so similar. But well, wait a minute. Why is Sai allowed to do that with Bryn's, which Sai's didn't sound great, but Bryn's sounded even worse. And so Sai's allowed to do that between her and Bryn's, childhood. But Jessel brings up the fact that her uncle, who she lived with, was an alcoholic and died from alcohol-related medical illnesses. And Sai flips out. I don't understand. That makes no sense to me. Speaking of Jessel had a photo shoot at Jenna's apartment. Jessel was launching, an e-commerce platform that spotlights accessories and apparel coming out of India, which is her birthplace, and she her heritage. And so she was taking advantage of Jenna's amazing apartment. I mean, I think Jenna said over the last 9 years, 50 people there have been 50 photo shoots there. It's stunning. So I completely understand why. Uba stopped by to just give a little modeling advice, and they were talking, Jessel and Uba, and Jessel told Uba about how Aaron was basically coming for Pavit, talking about his trip to Vietnam and how he wasn't wearing a ring. And Jessel had said, listen, don't talk about my marriage. Don't come for my husband. And Uba said that marriage and children are just off limits. They're none of my business. And that's how weak people fight. Weak people fight that way. And I completely agree with her on that. Absolutely 100%. The Mean Girls, aka Sai and Aaron, they met at a scary store to get masks for Bryn's party, because Bryn's party's theme is black tie casual and Venetian masks required, although nobody wore them. Sai said she's still annoyed by Jessel, calling her a mean girl. I mean, if the shoe fits. And Aaron, and then they also talk about how Sai says about how Jessel had called Aaron a parrot, her parrot. And Aaron was like, it doesn't bother me. I'm not mad. I'm not offended. But she wants to drop kick her, which makes absolutely no sense. So next, Aaron mentions to Sai the fact that Uba was offended when David had said to her, why don't you have a man? Sai, and listen, in the last episode, Uba made the mistake of actually telling Sai that she was dating somebody and showing a picture. So when this is all brought up that Uba was offended, then Sai says, well, she's fine. Uba's fine. Uba's going to be fine. She's seeing someone. She has a man. I think she did that because she, in that instance, she wanted to defend her husband rather than saying, yeah, that's kind of shitty that he said that. I mean, a woman really doesn't have to have a man to be happy or complete. She just threw that up. And Aaron says, with that whole, oh, I'm really happy. Oh, I'm happy. You could tell she really was not happy. And off camera, the producer, she was like, I'm happy, but I'm hurt. I'm really hurt that she didn't tell me. I thought we were good. I mean, sure, we had that whole jacked up incident awkward incident in Anguilla, but I thought we were good, but I guess we're really not. It kind of hurt. No, you shouldn't be. You don't. Listen, let's move on from that. So this is something that Uba wanted to stay just with her. That's it. She didn't want her to tell anybody. So here comes Sai. Sai immediately gets it out there in the universe. And then she has the damn nerve to be like, no one needs to talk about Uba's man at all, period. That's her story. That's her thing all night. That's her story. So she goes in and she just blurts it on out. And like I said, I think she did that to defend her husband and to maybe unconsciously just stir the pot, because that's what her and Aaron kind of do best. Next up, Pavitt and Jessel, they are talking a little bit about party, talking a little bit about Aaron and Sai. She says, Aaron needs to shut up about their marriage. She needs to worry about, she doesn't say she needs to worry about her own, but she's like, she's upset, they're obsessed with me. She needs to shut up about my marriage. She said Erin is a parrot. She doesn't have the capacity to think for herself. And Pavitt then says, and this is a good point, maybe Sai and Erin are projecting because they're just not happy in their marriages. And him and Jessel are very happy and solid in their marriage. So next up was Bryn's birthday masquerade party. Listen, out of all the women that showed up, number one, stunning, and usually always the most stunning in my mind, is Uba. Uba looked so great. Uba was perfection. Followed up by Jessel. I really did. I liked Jessel's whole look. David pulls Uba aside and apologizes for what he said. And he said that he was really trying to compliment her. I can see how a man would think that. I wouldn't think that that would be a great way to compliment someone. And so Uba was just like, listen, how about if you just realize that it was wrong and don't say anything else like that again. And he was like, we're cool, that's cool. So they're cool. Jessel and Pavitt come in, and listen, Jessel and Pavitt come in, Mean Girls kind of smirk together. The Mean Girls and that other friend of theirs, I have no idea who she was, but they kind of smirked when she comes in. Jessel goes up to them, walks in, says hello, how are you? Fine, and then walks away. Good for you, Jessel. You're not groveling, because she had said before, listen, if somebody doesn't want to be my friend, I'm not going to just try and grovel and work hard to be their friend. If they don't want to be my friend, they don't want to be my friend. That's it. I'm done with that. So she just walked away. Erin immediately, what did I do to her? She didn't hug me. She didn't give me a hug. What did I do? I'm confused. You really are confused? You've been talking nonstop about their marriage, putting out there that something is wrong with their marriage. I don't. And then she goes over to her husband. She didn't hug me. She didn't say. Really? You've been trying to cause trouble this whole time. Stir the pot with her and her husband. And she's supposed to hug you? Get out, fuck out of town. No. So Erin goes over and finds Jessel and says just that. What did I do to you? What's wrong? Jessel comes right out and tells her. She was like, listen, I heard that you were talking shit about my marriage. And then Sai comes up and she tells Sai, she's like, and I heard you don't like me. And then Sai, of course, Sai in her unbotheredness says, well, we don't have to be best friends. Jessel was like, that's correct. I don't want to be your best friend. And that's it. Erin says, oh, I was just giving my opinion about what I think is going on in your marriage. How about you don't? Jessel doesn't talk anything about your marriage. And if anybody is going to be cheating outside of their marriage, it's going to be Erin's husband, Abe. He had already said, if he doesn't get sex from her, then he's going to look outside the marriage and he's going to F other women. He said it. He completely said it. So if anybody wants to talk about marriages, maybe Jessel needs to talk about Erin's, or maybe Jessel needs to talk about the alleged rumors. They're alleged of how Sai came to be in the marriage that she's in. Because apparently she didn't come by that marriage honestly or morally. It's alleged. I'm not putting anything out there. It's alleged from what I heard. Sai said that she doesn't want her to be arrested. Jessel said, no, I don't want to be yours either. And Erin then said she's heard some stuff about Jessel, like the notes. I heard that you keep notes on everyone. Now, here's the only thing I did not like that Jessel did. Jessel was like, that's psychotic. Who would do that? I don't do that. You did it. I mean, you admitted to it. It's on camera, Jessel. So I didn't like that she did that. And then Erin says that the difference between her and Jessel is that she doesn't come undone and she doesn't get all irritated and aggravated and flip out like Jessel does. Jessel has never done that. Like, never ever has she done that. That's her bestie that does that, which we see a little bit later. Now listen, this whole thing with Brynn telling Jessel how she needs to stand up for herself, I thought was bullshit, because everybody stands up for themselves in their own way. Brynn's way of standing up for herself is yelling and screaming and cussing. That's not everybody's way of handling the situation. I felt like Jessel stuck up for herself very well. I thought she did it in a classy, calm way. So the fact that Brynn was telling her how she was sticking up for herself was wrong, I thought that was garbage. I thought that was trashy. And then next, Brynn, and you can tell that Brynn kind of was going to stir the pot. It was just a look that she had. And she said, what we're going to do next is something that I learned in yoga training or something like that, my training for yoga. And it's the airing of grievances. Now, listen, I don't like Erin, but Erin was like, yeah, this sounds like a lot of fun. Let's have a party and let's sit around and shit talk everybody, which it's not, I mean, that's not what normal people do, but that's what Real Housewives do at their parties. I found that after watching many years, maybe decades of Real Housewives. But so Brynn starts it off. Brynn brings up how the fact that Pavitt called Sai bipolar. That at the time I did not like it, and I don't like that. I am not a fan of when people poke fun of or weaponize someone's mental health status against them. I just don't. I hated it when it happened. And Sai says this offends her because her mom was actually bipolar. And here's the thing. I completely understand why Sai would be offended. I myself would be offended as well. But Sai doesn't like when somebody does something like that to her, but she should take a look at the fact that she's trying so hard to poke holes in somebody's marriage. I'm not saying it right. It's right that Pavitt said that. It's absolutely not right. And Sai does have a right to be offended by that. Absolutely. But she should maybe kind of also take a look at her own behavior, because week after week, she's gone after Jessel, calling her a liar, saying that, putting it out there kind of that what's Pavitt doing in Vietnam, meaning like, is he cheating? Coming for their marriage. It's a lot. She's doing a lot there. So, I mean, maybe look at yourself as well. But then Brynn also had said that Pavitt retracted the statement and was wholeheartedly said, I shouldn't have said that. That was wrong to say that. I'm sorry. But then had called Sai effing bitch. And seriously, I feel like they need to give Pavitt his own apple after this, because when he said, classic, this was perfect. He said off camera, did I call Sai a bitch? Probably. And if I didn't, then she's a bitch. That was just the best. The absolute comment of the night and possibly of the entire season. So, and then Sai says, Sai says that she's honest. She says, I'm just being honest. I'm saying what other people want to say. Listen, you can be honest, but not be a bitch. Like when people say, I'm just brutally honest, you can just be honest and not be so harsh about it. I just don't, I hate that when people are like, I'm not being a bitch, I'm being honest. You can be one without being the other. You don't have to be a bitch and be honest. You can just be honest. I hate that when she said that. She then said that Jessel lies. Jessel's a liar. You lie about everything. And Jessel was like, what do I lie about? Give me some examples. And then she said, once again, the Vietnam flight. And Pavitt explained it. Jessel had said, I think maybe like, I'm over this or something. And then Sai starts screaming. I mean, screaming. And she's saying, I don't care. She's screaming, I don't care. I don't care. You obviously care. If you weren't, you're screaming. Like she's the most bothered, unbothered I've ever seen of anybody. If you don't care, why are you screaming? Maybe go and get some therapy. I'm just saying, therapy helps out a lot of people. There's nothing wrong with getting therapy and talking to someone. Maybe she needs to because she's really unhinged. And then Erin, and a little bit after that, Erin dresses up like a parrot and comes out and her and Sai are like acting like she's a parrot. And then everything's okay. And then everything was like, poof, everything's gone. I mean, you know, because Jessel was like, listen, I'm done with this. I'm of an age where I don't need to hold on to this and this is stupid. Let's just be done with this. So, well, I'm going to say, I don't know if I'm the only person that loved this, but Bryn's birthday cake, which was the Nancy Drew book with some Jenna Lyne style glasses. I love that. I thought that was so perfect. So the last thing to happen was that Bryn yells out, hey, Uba, I hear you have a man in Connecticut. Well, then the face from Sai, she was like, don't, shut up. Okay, so here's what happened. Sai and Erin took Bryn out for her birthday. And they established what's known as the circle of trust. Bryn got drunk. From what it sounds like maybe they all had a little bit to drink. And Sai then told all of the information about Uba's man, including like who he is, what he does, and that he lives in Connecticut. So Bryn says this, and Uba's immediately pissed at Bryn that she said something. But it doesn't seem at all like she's pissed off at Sai. Listen, Bryn says she's repeating what Sai said. And Bryn says, well, you said it on camera. You said what you said to Erin was on camera. And she's screaming, I guess Sai was thinking that she said, that Bryn was saying she said Connecticut on camera. And she's once again screaming at Bryn. Okay, it was not great that Bryn said that. Bryn should not have said it. However, Sai wants Bryn to take accountability. How about yourself? If you wouldn't have said something to Bryn or to Erin, nobody would know. And none of this would have happened. And Sai's yelling, it's nobody's business. It's Uba's story to tell. Correct. It is Uba's story to tell. She made the mistake of telling you. She thought that you were going to keep her secret. You didn't. You blabbed. And it's out. It's your fault. Bryn shouldn't have done that. Should you have told people? No. You shouldn't have. It's nobody's business. You should have kept your mouth shut. So that's it. That was the finale. It's going to be a two-part reunion, which I'm usually used to like the 3 or 4 parts, but I don't think there was enough to cover for 3. So this reboot, I would probably give it out of 10, I would probably give it middle of the road, maybe like 5 or 6. I know exactly why they had to reboot it. They had to reboot it because the women that they had on the old, the legacies, while I love them, they're women who are getting older. They're not really moving forward in their lives. You can only really watch so much of Luann's cabaret act or Sonia getting drunk and flirting with everybody. Ramona being problematic as always. I mean, their story wasn't really pushing forward, and it really wasn't a representation of what New York City is as far as cultures and ethnicities. So I completely understand that. That being said, they need to get rid of either Aaron or Cy. I'm not going to say both, because if you have a reality TV show, you have to have a villain. And as much as I hated Jessel in the beginning, I grew to really like her a lot. Was she my absolute favorite? She wasn't my absolute favorite, but I did end up liking her quite a bit. So either get rid of Aaron or Cy. I can't stand Cy. In the past, I would have said definitely get rid of Aaron, but Cy is my least favorite now, my absolute least favorite. So I don't know. And this might be, and here's the thing. Next year moving forward, I would like to see more. I would like to see them develop Uba a little bit more, like they did with Brynn. I would like them to develop her a little bit more. I would like Jenna to get a little bit more time. Jenna, however, I don't know that she feels 100% confident in being on a reality TV show, which, as much as I love her, there were times when I was like, maybe put her in as like a friend of. But I don't know. I do love Jessel a lot because she's not as stereotypical. She doesn't fit that housewife mold completely. And I think it's refreshing seeing that. This season, Uba kind of almost felt like she was a friend of, because they didn't get into her. I would really love for them to get into her a little bit more next season. So let me know in the comments what you think. With that being said, I hope somebody told you already. If not, I love you. You're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there, and understanding. Take care of one another. Please stay aware of your surroundings, and please stay safe. This is a very long video. I had a lot to say. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.